Welcome to Why Though the Podcast.
We did it. That was amazing. Hello, Destiny Johnson.
Hello, Lizzy Acker. How are you?
Well, I'm okay.
Yeah.
We just had some technical difficulties.
We sure did. As in, we almost finished recording this episode and now we're back to take 2 because we had some technical difficulties, but that's okay.
That's okay, because you know what? We're going to be snappy. We know what we want to talk about.
Yeah, and we're here for you guys because this is Why Though the Podcast. Welcome. Thank you for listening. This is a podcast where we turn Lizzy's critically acclaimed, in my opinion, advice column into a podcast. Lizzy, why don't you tell them about Why Though the Advice Column?
Well, Why Though the Advice Column is a weekly column where I answer everyone's questions about life, the universe, and everything. I love to answer your questions, and you should definitely send them to me.
How can they do that?
They can do that in pretty much any way they want. You can email me at Acker@Oregonian.com. Also, text me, and I'll text you every day, basically, that I'm working. Text the word advice to 503-751-8731, and then click the link and subscribe. Today, I texted my followers my favorite babka recipe.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you
chocolate
said,
babka.
I was going to say, you said earlier it was chocolate babka.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite. Cinnamon babka, also very good.
Very good.
Chocolate, in my opinion, is better.
Yeah. And I was also said, and you know what? Everything here we've already said to each other, but that's fine. That it's a really accessible 3-day baking project.
I'm not sure that accessible and 3-day go together. What do you mean?
I just mean that, like, okay, you can do okay, it's a baking project that has lots of parts to it, but none of the parts are hard.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of them are doable.
Sure.
It's just all you really need is time, and you don't need, if you do, I would say you need a stand mixer just because you're kneading dough. So stand mixer is the main thing to get you in there, but then the dough is easy to make. You know, you're rolling it out, but you're not rolling it out so thin. I once tried to make croissants, and that's really hard. Actually, I tried multiple times, and I never successfully did it in a way that I would be like, here's a croissant, Destiny, and you'd be like, yes, this is a croissant, Lizzy.
Do you, after the croissant debacle, do you have like a grater? Do you ever watch like the Great British Baking Show or anything?
Do I always watch? Always,
yeah.
Always,
do you have like a better respect for like them in the heat of the tent and like trying to keep the butter cold and then like the book fold and putting it in the fridge? It's so stressful.
And the same thing with babka, actually, because it's like the babka recipe is totally accessible, but it's 3 days. So when they're being like, okay, we're going to do this in 2 hours, like, how are you making the dough taste good? Because part of it is just the flavor that develops over time.
Just crying and hoping, probably.
Yeah, just crying and hoping. But anyway, chocolate babka.
But you like to bake, right?
I love to bake, yeah.
So do you like to bake for the holidays?
I do. Yeah. I like to bake for the holidays. I like to bake literally any time of day, for any reason. Like, I made chocolate chip cookies yesterday. And then as I was cracking the eggs, realized one egg was already cracked.
No.
So I made chocolate chip cookies with one egg yesterday, and they're just a whole different experience.
Good,
but they taste good. I mean, I also I did several different things that I haven't done before. Like I browned half the butter because I wanted to try that, and I used some almond flour because I like to sometimes mix in some almond flour and see how it changes things. They taste good, but they're not. They could be a little more moist,
Sure, almond flour sometimes
dries
can
things
suck
out
the
too,
moisture out of stuff.
So.
Yeah. I made, as I normally do around this time of year, some meringue cookies. We call them forgotten cookies because one way you can make them is by, putting them into a preheated oven, then turning the oven off and leaving them overnight, and they'll dry out. So forgotten cookies.
Cool.
I didn't do it that way. I tried to cheat them by turning it onto putting them into a low oven for a little bit. And my roommate needed the oven because she was hosting like a dinner party. And so I was like, oh, these are probably fine. And I took them out, and I had made them too big on the pan. They didn't dry out. They were still sticky. And so I had to toss them.
Bummer. Cooking, man. Baking is fun, though. I think it's fun. For me, it's so satisfying. But did you see this thing on Threads?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh. I should read this to you because it's shocked me.
It's topical. So this is going to be our holiday extravaganza video or podcast, just in case you guys didn't know. This is obviously the end of the year. Happy holidays, y'all.
Happy holidays. It's our last podcast of the year. We already Okay, we have another one coming out next Thursday, but this is the last one we are recording together because that one is already recorded.
Yep, and we'll both be off. Lizzy will be gallivanting through Disney with her family. I'll be hanging out with my best friend who's coming to visit. And so we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions and stuff, but let's talk about baking first because this was insane.
This is crazy. Okay, this is on Thread. I guess it's called Thread.
Yeah.
The new Instagram, Twitter replacement.
It's kind of cool if you don't have it.
You can find both of us there. I'm at Lizzy Acker, and Destiny, what are you?
I'm at hello__Destiny, which is the same as my Instagram.
Okay, this person, the speech prof, wrote, do other people preheat their oven like every time? I can't be the only one who just shrugs my shoulders and throws my food in after a minute or so and thinks, close enough.
Okay.
This person must not be baking.
Right. So I said to Lizzy, it obviously depends on the food. Like if I'm trying to reheat some pizza, fine. If I'm trying to cook a pork loin, like, are you insane?
Right. Or like you're following direction. Like frozen pizza, for example. I mean, you got to follow the directions for food safety reasons.
Yeah.
And like this morning, I made a Dutch baby. One of my favorite things to make for breakfast. Super easy. But you preheat the oven to 425 degrees and then you put the Dutch baby in at 425 degrees and cook it for 20 minutes. If you put it in a cold oven, how would you know how long to cook it?
There's like also some chemistry that happens at a certain temperature, right? Like when you are making things that have like baking powder in them or whatever, like certain things happen at certain that's just wild.
Wild. Absolutely wild. Do not do that for baking. Preheat the oven. There is one recipe.
Cooking anything. You can only do that when you're trying to like heat something up that doesn't need to be cooked.
That's already
to a
been
certain
cooked.
Temperature. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a recipe that I found once on New York Times Cooking. I think it was, or maybe I just read about it in the comments. An amazing place, on the New York Times Cooking app. That was like if you put the bacon in a cold oven and then you preheat the oven. I can't remember how much. 350.
It renders the fat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that, you know what, that's how the recipe works.
And it's like putting it in a cold pan. It's the same thought process.
So, and that's fine. Also, when bacon is cooked. Nobody's out there eating raw bacon.
Yeah, don't do that. You'll get sick.
Hopefully not. Anyway, wild to me. It never occurred to me that someone wouldn't preheat the oven when they're making something
that requires
which is an oven at a certain temperature.
Yeah, I don't love that.
No, stressed me out.
Yeah. Get good with you and your oven guys.
I don't know what's going on. It was, it was a man.
That's what I said. I said, was it a man? She said, yeah.
Of course it was.
I said, yep.
Checks out.
Checks out. Lizzy.
Destiny.
Do you know what happens after Christmas?
I think so. It is Boxing Day. Just kidding.
That's true.
Then after that, it's New Year's.
Talk to me about New Year's resolutions. Do you make them?
I am more
How
of
do you
a
feel
like,
about them?
yeah, I don't have okay. I like to come up with some like goals for the year. And then they're kind of probably usually things I've been working on or wish I was working on.
Sure. Yeah. But you do like dedicate time at the beginning of the year to like think about things that you'd like to work on.
Yeah, at the very least I do, like, because I have a 5-year journal. Yeah. So that's like cool. I usually write something on New Year's Eve, like this is what I want to do next year.
Sure.
And that way, at least when I forget about them in a month, in a year, I can look and be like, oh yeah. And I feel like frequently at this point I have like, this will be my, because I have one full 5-year journal and a year. So this will be my 7th year doing it. So I can look back and be like, what are the commonalities here? And how many times did I say spend less money, Because I bet I'm not even putting that on the list this year.
Okay.
I should for sure. And probably stop buying things on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's so easy. But, or at least budget. Oops, there was my phone. I mean, we have a budget. So.
Of course. Right.
Yeah. My husband is definitely the one behind the reasonable brains behind the money operation. Like,
sure,
he keeps me in check there. So that's sort of like outsourcing a resolution.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't make specific like resolutions. I used to. Because I think that who I would like to be and who I am are two disparate people.
But are they getting closer?
So no, I think I've just accepted who I've let go of who I would like to be and accepted who I am, which I think is important. And I'm not really like a person who can make lists and keep to them
Okay.
always. So I never say like, I'm going to do this. It's always like, I would like to do more of something, right? Or I would like to do less of something.
Yeah.
So it's not like super quantifiable. It's not super specific, because when it is like really concrete and I miss it even by a little bit, I feel guilty.
Okay. Well, we don't want you to feel guilty.
Right. Which isn't worth it.
Right.
Which is, and also like a little insane, right? Like you shouldn't torture yourself about these kinds of things. That's very silly.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the only person out there who feels that way. And also as I've gotten older, I've like let go of some of the trappings of being, of course, like a young insecure girl.
Right.
A lot of my earlier resolutions would be like, I'm gonna lose weight, just like amorphously, I'm gonna lose weight. You know what I mean? Like not concerned for my health or you know, anything like that. So I don't really, I don't keep a 5-year journal, but I do keep a yearly planner. So I do write them down, and I do try to think about them.
Okay. So what are you thinking about this year?
Well, I'd love to keep reading. I did get that brand new Kindle, which has been great. So I'd love to read more books if possible. And I didn't read that many this year. I think I read, I don't know, 6, 7. So not that many. So I think that's definitely achievable. And I'd like to get back into yoga.
Okay.
And considering I did 2 sessions of yoga this year,
you can do more.
I think I could do more.
Yeah.
I was really into yoga for many years, and then I moved here and kind of fell out of it.
Yeah.
And so I would love to just, it's great for my anxiety.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's great for my body. I'm just feeling stiff these days. So I would love to participate in that a little bit. I learned that you used to be a teacher.
I did yoga teacher training when I was your age, when I was 30, I guess, in San Francisco. Maybe I was 29 when I did the training. It was kind of like a thing lots of people did. I took a month off of work and did this intense yoga teacher training. Cool. It was really fun, and I met some really cool people. It was all women, just happened to be. And I do love yoga. I go through periods. Like, I definitely am like all in on yoga, and then I'll be like, I don't have time, or I'm just
I think it's a little bit of an ebb and flow for a lot of people.
But when I was in Michigan over the summer, I did yoga like every day. It was really fun.
What about you? You have anything that you have in mind besides spend less money?
Spend less money. Yeah. Actually, luckily this is our second go at this, so I have now refined my goals. I definitely want to eat more vegetables. I think I think that's achievable, because I don't eat enough vegetables. Okay. And like I just
why not? Do you not like them?
I actually don't have a problem with vegetables. I like vegetables. I just also really like fresh vegetables. Okay. I really don't like frozen vegetables, or definitely not canned vegetables. And so for me, it's like I need to go to the store more and get fresh vegetables more, which is it's really a time thing. Yeah. But I do want to eat more vegetables. I want my kid to eat more vegetables, and I feel like she will if I do. And it's just good for your body. Like, I just don't eat enough vegetables. I want to be more present with both my husband and my child and my friends, and my life. Just want to put my phone down, I think. I feel like my phone is getting in the way of happiness.
Such a difficult one.
It's so hard. It's so hard, especially, for us with our job.
Yeah. It's like you really do. It's not even FOMO. It's like missing professional information, like not checking Oregon Live, not knowing about what's going on like in the world. Yeah. Really puts you at a detriment for like just day-to-day conversation, for real. Right. Yeah. And like some of you people at home might just be like, well, just put your phone down. Like, you don't understand the amount of screens that are so present in our lives, like constantly, the expectation of like the immediacy of reply from the world. Like, I know that non-journalists also have that like in their personal lives, and maybe in your work life too, but like, the immediacy of response exists via text, via Slack, via email, via social media. It's everywhere. Right. It's very difficult to unplug.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. as I like look at my watch.
Yeah.
Like I even have it on my watch.
It's hard.
Oh gosh.
It's a good one.
So yeah, I think like put my phone down more and figure out how to do that. You were talking about reading more, and I feel like I really picked up my reading in the second half of the year. I love reading.
Keeps me off my phone.
It keeps me off my phone. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to do audiobooks. Like some people are like really into audiobooks, which I totally support.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
For me though, I can't do an audiobook because I'll look at something else on my phone. And pretty much all the other, like a lot of times, I'm looking at multiple screens and I want to do less of that. And I love a book for focus. Also, I just thought of another one. My friend, I've talked about this before, wanted to do a 5K next year.
Oh yeah.
And I have not been running much this week, but I want to keep running at least a little bit so I can do a 5K next year.
Love that. That's great.
And yeah.
I think that's like super achievable.
Like, yeah. I could definitely do a 5K today. I couldn't run the whole way though.
Right.
So see if I could
that's
run.
Also fine. But yeah.
See if I can do running.
But conditioning yourself certainly won't hurt.
Certainly won't. Yeah. It's hard for me to get outside, like to run. I mean, I don't even ride my bike after like October because of the weather. And like the last week I've been like, it's cold, it's rainy. So I've been riding the inside bike, but I want to get out there and run some more. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's a great one.
And also that's like a little bit of a shorter term goal because I'm like, if I can do it for 2 months, I can buy myself running shoes.
Hey, there we go.
I like to reward myself for the bare minimum.
I don't think that's the bare minimum.
Okay.
Running for 2 months is not the bare minimum.
Okay.
Shows commitment.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I want to learn a new skill.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. What kind of skill do you want to learn?
I'm a crafter. I like to craft. I like to crochet.
She's a really good crocheter.
Thank you so much. I like to just any little craft. Like I love to peruse Michael's and just buy like a craft.
I love it.
My mom and I went to this like private stained glass class, which had been like a lifelong want of my mother to create stained glass, and now she's like all about it. And it was so fun. It was so approachable, and now my mom has looked up like all of the gear that you need. It's like a capital investment in the front end hobby, because you need like the little sander and like the the glass and the different tools and stuff. So she's looked into that, and it seems doable. Like we weren't like good, but it was fun. You know what? And you don't have to be good at your hobbies.
It's great to not be good, because
Absolutely.
Then you're not chasing perfection. You're just enjoying it for the whole. Yeah. I love to do something I'm bad at, because it's like, I'm never going to be good at this. I'm not going to be the best.
I only reserve that for my hobbies. I don't like to do things that I'm bad at in public. That's why I do not participate in karaoke. But
I'm so bad at karaoke. I also don't participate in karaoke.
Yeah, I'll go if you have your party at a karaoke bar, but I will not participate. But I will cheer you on.
No one even invites me to parties anymore because I'm such an old lady.
I'm so sorry.
I mean,
I'll invite you to my parties.
Okay, thank you. I'll probably say no.
It's okay. I don't really have parties, but if I do, I'll invite you.
Thank you.
And you can say no. It's okay,
cool.
Well, if you have a New Year's resolution and you are hard and fast about them, I hope that you make them, and you should tell us about them.
Yeah, you can text me at just text the word advice to 503-751-8731 and click the link and subscribe. And I will text you, but
not while she's on vacation.
Not while on vacation. I'm going to be on vacation. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, let us be on vacation.
Yeah, let us be on vacation.
Yeah, we deserve it.
Should we do a smash or pass? I was thinking we could do smash or pass like of the year, because this is the end of the year. Looking back, smashing and passing. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
If y'all don't know what Smash or Pass is, it's a little segment where we talk about things that we love, aka things we'd smash, and things that we don't love so much, aka things we'd pass on. And I think that's a great idea, doing like a year-long smash and a year-long pass. Lizzy brought props for her smash.
I'm like pretending like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I think we should start with Lizzy's smash, because she's about... The library's open.
The library's open. I'm going to talk to you.
Lizzy and you know what?
If you don't know this, you can watch us.
Yeah,
that's why I brought
how you can see the props.
Because it's going to be on YouTube. It's on YouTube. And you can see me hold up books as if I were on Reading Rainbow.
Yes. The Oregonian's YouTube channel, every week we do upload a video where you can watch us sit in comfy
and
little
our
chairs.
cute outfits. And
Yeah.
Destiny's got chicken earrings on today.
They are chickens
They
with
are
little
so
cowboy
cute.
boots in memory of my little chicken friend who did pass away this week.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. my chicken friend.
Okay, so this year, like I said, I've been reading a lot, which has been bringing me a lot of joy.
Love
I feel
that.
like I love reading. It focuses my mind. It feels like I'm resetting my brain. And it's something that I, unlike looking at my phone, which I do not want to do in front of my child, I do, and I try not to, one of my goals, I can read in front of her because it's a good thing to, reflect.
Does
to show.
Nona like books?
She loves books.
Right,
She
yeah.
loves books. Yeah, she loves books. Okay, so these are the top 5 books I read this year. They didn't all come out this year, but
That's
some of them
fine.
did. I will try not to get in too depth, but I love these books. Okay. This one I finished yesterday.
Yeah, I saw your Instagram.
So like I
Fresh off the press.
Yeah, fresh off the presses. It's called Prophet Song by Paul Lynch, and it won the Booker Prize. It's the story is like, it's set in an Ireland that isn't the real Ireland.
Sure.
But this isn't like a sci-fi. It's like, there's a genre that, or a way that this could be defined. I'm not able to come up with it right now in my
Like
my
it
brain.
could be a real Ireland. Like it's
Yeah.
not like so out of the realm.
Right.
Of
No, it is.
reality.
Yeah. It's totally believable, but it is not real. Where they have a neo-fascist government has just come into power, and it's about this woman and how she is dealing with, well, the ramifications of that, and watching society collapse around her. She has 4 kids, a husband. Usually I wouldn't even ever recommend a book that was written by a man from the perspective of a woman, but he does it believably and well. And this book is just so, it does what a novel should do, in my opinion, which is that it's telling a story that's, is from the perspective of like white European people. That is something that is happening all over the world right now, which is the collapse of society, war, violence, and it really puts you in this place of that a lot of people are in, even though it's not real. It is real, which is interesting. So good. Prophet Song, Paul Lynch. Okay. Then Shuggie Bain. I read a lot of books that were set in Ireland. This is actually set in Scotland, but like I think, and this is a Booker Prize long listed in 2020. I actually avoided this one for a while because I knew that it was going to be sad.
You mentioned this in another podcast. You did say it was sad.
It's very sad. It's the story of a young gay boy growing up in Glasgow in the 80s, and his mom is an alcoholic. Devastating.
Yeah. Also,
a really incredible portrait of that time and that relationship and what it means to have an alcoholic parent. Highly recommend. Shuggie Bain. Douglas Stewart. Really good. The other book this was actually the first book I read this year. Demon Copperhead. I feel like some people didn't love this book. Barbara Kingsolver. Oh, you know what? This book came out in 2022. So actually, the only book that came out in 2023 that I read this year was that. No, I read lots of books that came out this year, but
that made the list.
Is Prophet Song. So Demon Copperhead is Barbara Kingsolver's take on David Copperfield as told from the perspective of a boy. And so here's a woman writing a young boy going through the opioid crisis in Appalachia, in the early 2000s, and it's the story of his life, and I just love it. She really captured this voice, and you don't have to have read David Copperfield to like this book. I purchased David Copperfield to read it, and it's like 1 billion pages, and I was like, Dickens repeats himself a lot. I'm just not going to do it. But anyway, maybe I will someday. Demon Copperhead, Barbara Kingsolver. Recommend. I feel like that might be slightly controversial and that some people hate that book or just really didn't love it, or they don't think it's Barbara Kingsolver's best. I really liked it.
It made Oprah's book club.
It did, yeah. 1 million people read that book. 1 billion.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah. Great Circle. Did I talk about this? I might have talked about this on the podcast also. Maggie Shipstead. This book was a Booker Prize finalist. Also, it came out in 2021. I completely missed it. And it is long, and it is the story of a fictional story. I mean, these are all fiction. I love fiction.
Yeah, me too.
A pilot, a woman pilot in the I think it starts in 1900. Anyway, I really, really, really loved this book.
It follows like two different people,
two different stories. Yes,
right?
yeah. So it's her and then this actress who's
That's
playing
right.
her in a movie.
That's right. Yeah,
in a more present time.
It seemed very cool. It made me want to read it.
Yeah. I think it really works, and it really sort of tells this long story of these two people and the people connected to them, but mainly these two women, really about what it means to be a woman and in different times and the things that society puts on us, and just a beautiful book.
I know.
And I really enjoyed it. And then another Maggie O'Farrell, I think this one came out in 2022 too, called The Marriage Portrait. Maggie O'Farrell is currently my favorite author.
I was going to say, you really
Obsessed.
like her, right? Yeah.
And actually I read another book of hers. I read several books of hers this year. This is one of my two favorites. The other one I loaned to someone. I was like, I don't have it for a prop. But The Marriage Portrait is historical fiction about a Medici daughter. I don't want to give too much away. It's totally, invented based on these facts. This young girl marrying an older man.
I love historical fiction, actually.
Yeah.
It's one of my faves.
Really good. I love Maggie O'Farrell. I'm just going to say it.
I don't think
O'Farrell,
I've read anything
if you're
about
listening,
Maggie O'Farrell.
I think I've gotten really into like British authors.
Love that.
Contemporary British authors. But anyway, so those are my five favorite books of the year. My 5 big smashes. I think anyone could read any of those books. And you can text me about how much you hate them at 503-751-8731, or, how much you love them.
I love that.
Or what books you loved. I mean, I love a good recommendation. I read really fast, and I love to get obsessed with a book. So
I love that. Reading is also I agree with that smash. I would also love to read, like I said, more in the upcoming year, continuing to read more. So I love all those smashes, and I think I want to read something by Maggie O'Farrell next year. I have a little bit of a long TBR, because right now I'm reading the Hunger Games prequel, and then I bought this book that's next on my TBR while I was waiting to read that TBR. Unbeknownst to me, the second one of the book of the one that I bought that I was waiting came out. So now I have 2 books waiting. Yeah. So, but I'll get there. It'll be fine.
I have so many.
Yeah. So very exciting stuff. My smash is advice adjacent, which is what we do here on this podcast. My smash is taking care of yourself like you're supposed to.
Ooh.
And I'll elaborate that by saying if you didn't know, if you're new to the pod, last year on Thanksgiving, I almost died. And I say that hee hee ha ha, but no, for real. I spent 7 days in the ICU. It wasn't great. I'm fine now.
We're glad you're here.
Thank you so much. I'm fine now. I have a rare form of diabetes called diabetes 1.5. It's under control. It's great. However, with that comes many doctor's appointments. I have a different thing the matter with me. So I have to see a women's specialist, and then I have to see an endocrinologist, and I have to see a nutritionist, and I have to see people who draw your blood, and I have to, the list is long, and it's a pain in the butt. And I used to get so stressed about taking time from work to go to the doctors, and I used to get so stressed about just going to the doctors in general, because they always tell you you're fat, lose weight.
Right.
That's what's the matter with you, all this stuff. And, I just would put it off, and, because I wasn't really there wasn't really anything the matter with me until there was. I'm just here to say that there could be something the matter with you. I hope that there isn't, but you won't know unless you go to the doctor. Don't let something bad happen to you because you don't want to go to the doctor. Right. So just take care of yourself if you have the means to do so, right? And I did, and I did not, right? So I unfortunately was the worst case scenario. Most people do not obviously end up in the situation that I was in, but now I have to go to the doctor all the time, and it's, no longer scary and whatever, but I'm glad that I'm now doing it, right? I'm going to all these doctor's appointments. I'm getting my blood drawn all the time, and taking care of myself like I should have been all along. Right. And I'm better for it. Yeah. Having people check up on my health all the time and be aware of what's going on all the time.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's good for me. And I'm healthy because of it. And I'm very appreciative to the team of doctors who's, got me into shape after that very scary event. So
I think that's a great smash.
Yeah.
I like smash Western medicine. I mean,
if you
honestly,
have the means, the money, the insurance, I know not everybody does.
Yeah.
And I know that
but there
can be very
are,
concerning.
you know what? There's insurance available.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Cost plus
several
drugs
years
if you
ago-
like can't.
yeah.
That's Mark Cuban's like
Mhm.
cheap thing. They just added like 1,200 more prescriptions to that website.
Wow.
That's a great asset for people who don't have insurance, who are looking to get prescriptions. Your prescription may not be on there,
Right.
but
Get
it's
on
a
the
great
Oregon
place
Health
to
Plan.
look. Oregon Health Plan, right?
Um,
Yeah. There are options available for some people. Of course, not
Yeah.
everybody, but for some
In
people.
Oregon, I think that there's pretty good options available.
Yeah.
I once several years ago almost died myself.
Yeah.
And just like definite smash to the fact that we can go to the hospital, the fact that we have infrastructure that like saves us.
Yeah, it
And
shouldn't
doctors,
get to that point.
It shouldn't, but you know, it's
Sometimes,
there.
yeah.
And like all of the infrastructure that is
Mhm.
there is so I think there's such a important thing to remember. Like it might not be there. It
Mhm.
could not be there. For some people, it is not there.
Right.
And I think now we're going to get to my pass for the year,
Yeah.
which
yeah.
I've been thinking about, you know, for months, all the time,
Yeah.
something. But this book that I just finished yesterday, Prophet Song, and
Mhm.
this, you know, there are places right now in the world where there isn't. If you needed to go to the hospital for something like this, or like I had an infection after a miscarriage,
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
you couldn't. There's nowhere to go because there are places that are being destroyed.
I remember feeling when I finally got into the emergency room, I was
Mhm.
taken by ambulance to the emergency room. I remember thinking, thank God that I'm here, because if I die,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the place where
Mm-hmm.
I will, like, there are people here
Yeah.
who can save me.
Right.
I am like finally in the safest place that I can
Right.
be. And you know what you're saying,
There's lots of places where there isn't that
it
safe
is not,
place.
it is not that safe place.
Either you know, the hospitals have been bombed, like in
Right.
some places, or never was that infrastructure.
Right.
There's no money. There's, you know, there's just so many. We are so lucky with all of the things that we have.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I like it's almost like it's just like too silly to pass on like the horror that is visiting this planet at the hands of people.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm gonna find this quote from this very book that I'm obsessed with because I read it yesterday. Maybe I won't be able to find it. It's on my phone. That I thought was just so powerful and so true. This is just kind of part of it. It says, "The end of the world is always a local event, and it comes to your country and visits your town and knocks on the door of your house and becomes to others but some distant warning, a brief report on the news, an echo of events that has passed into folklore." And I think, you know, for a lot of people, the end of the world is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, even if we care about it, it's you can't be fully engaged with it because it isn't happening to you, but it could be happening to you. And I hope next year, like, I don't know, some of these places where the end of the world is happening, it stops happening.
Yeah.
It just makes me so sad.
It's like all you can do on this side of the world is be conscientious of where you spend your money and what
Mhm.
you support, and you know.
Yeah, it's just sad.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Do you have a past destiny? Now we're bringing it way down, guys.
I mean, my pass is doing too much, right? So
Mhm.
in the same vein of like taking care of yourself, is I'm like a person who, you know, I'm not like great at saying no to things
Mhm.
because I'm like a doer. And I'm
Mhm.
like a doer in the capacity of like, well, if I do the thing, then I will remain important,
Mhm.
right? I will fill a need and I will remain important. And that's
Mhm.
not a great way to be. Go to therapy, folks. I do. Don't worry. So, you know, I'll take on the task. I'll work the extra hours. I will, you know, and luckily I work for a great team who's like conscientious of overburdening people with, you know, it hasn't been an issue here at the Oregonian like it has been at other places I've worked. But, you know, I will, you know, go the extra mile. I'll stay up the extra time. I'll, you know, and just learning to not put so much on your plate,
Mhm.
and take a step back use that time, utilize that time to focus on yourself, or even I call it like gremlin time, just, you know, do nothing.
Yeah.
Is important. And like, you need to know what your level of doing nothing is. That is the right level for you. For some people, that's a lot. I need a lot of doing nothing time.
Yeah.
And my doing nothing time isn't literally doing nothing. I'm engaging in things that, you know, whatever. I might be reading, or I'm crocheting, or I'm, you know,
those
whatever.
are very not nothing things. You need time off.
Stillness.
You know what I mean?
You know, stillness for me looks like that. But giving yourself the power to do that, smash. Not doing that, pass. And I'm a person who's very guilty of not doing that. Okay. So
do more of that this year. Next year.
Trying to. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So for sure.
Okay. We're going to go into 2024 with those things in mind.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys have in mind too by texting Lizzy once again.
Text me by texting the word advice to 503-751-8731 and then click the link and subscribe.
Yeah, and don't forget, you can always find more Why Though, old episodes of this podcast or old columns at OregonLive.com/Why Though. You can watch our videos and see our adorable selves.
There.
Yeah, YouTube, the Oregonians YouTube, excuse me. And
you can see me hold up books just like I was on Reading Rainbow, The Dream.
It's pretty impressive, if I'm being honest.
I've always wanted to be on Reading Rainbow.
Yeah, and you can listen to more of this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we will be back with a vengeance next year. Y'all didn't even know what you're in for.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you. Have a happy new year.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
For listening to Why Though the podcast. Subscribe for weekly episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, and don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. If you're looking for more Why Though, check out my column that comes out every Tuesday on OregonLive.com. You can support our local journalism by going to OregonLive.com/pod support.